News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Please, sir, may I have an extension? Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning for Wednesday, June 7th, 2017. Pretty morning out there. A lovely, almost completely blue sky. We have some high, thin clouds out there. Pretty cloud patterns. We have 52 degrees in Missoula. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by First Montana Bank. They're your home for free centennial checking. Get that debit card and get unlimited cash back every time you use it. Our top story this morning, attorneys for Congressman-elect Greg Gianforte are asking a judge to extend the deadline for the Montana Republican to appear in court to face a misdemeanor assault charge against a reporter. The request by former U.S. Attorney William Mercer and Bozeman attorney Todd Whipple said they're in settlement talks with prosecutors. Gallatin County Attorney Marty Lambert provided a copy of the motion seeking a 2-week extension that was filed Tuesday. Gianforte faced a Wednesday deadline, which of course is today, to appear before a Gallatin County judge over allegations that he had attacked a Guardian reporter Ben Jacobs the night before last month's special congressional election. Jacobs said he was, quote, body slammed, end quote, by Gianforte May 24th while he was trying to ask him a question about a health care bill. Missoula police took 40-year-old Mikhail Adamsu into custody on Monday after he refused to listen to police requests not to get in his car and drive while he was intoxicated. According to Public Information Officer Travis Welsh, a concerned citizen called 911 after seeing Adamsu staggering in a parking lot at the intersection of Scott and Phillips.
The caller reported seeing a male struggling to put 2 small children into the back seat of a car. And by struggling, she described that he was staggering, that he was using the car and a tree right there to steady himself, that she actually saw him fall down a couple of times.
A plainclothes detective also saw Adamsu and came to the vehicle showing his badge, begging the driver not to drive away. What Admasu did next, though, resulted in a felony charge.
Was starting to pull out into traffic. The investigator approached the driver's window, asked the male to stop and to turn off the car. The male refused. About the same time, uniformed officers arrived, and together they were able to reach into the car, turn off the ignition, and pull the keys out and pull the driver out of the car.
Admasu was held for criminal child endangerment, 2 counts, as well as aggravated DUI. The children in the car were 3 and 5 years of age. Officials in southwestern Montana have released the name of a 77-year-old Anaconda man who was struck and killed while crossing the street at night during a rainstorm. Anaconda-Deer Lodge County Coroner Jesse Bilquist Jetty told the Montana Standard that Donald Stuber died in the collision about 2:30 Monday morning. A 37-year-old Pensacola, Florida man who hit him said the traffic light was green and he didn't see Stuber until he was just a foot or 2 away and was unable to avoid striking him. The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services announced yesterday that multiple Montanans have been diagnosed with salmonella this spring. Epidemiologist Dana Fedges explains.
Currently in Montana, we've had reports of at least 14 individuals who've become ill with salmonella. Salmonella is a pathogen that sometimes healthy birds can carry, but they will make people sick with diarrheal illnesses, and sometimes that even requires hospitalization.
Fedges says 3 individuals in Montana had to go to the hospital for salmonella, but all of them are recovering. According to Fedges, there are many precautions poultry owners can take to prevent getting sick.
Don't allow any children that are younger than 5 years of age to touch or handle live poultry and eggs without any supervision, just so you can ensure, that they're not putting their fingers in their mouth and that they wash their hands right after handling and so forth. And another thing we would also not recommend is to kiss the birds or touch their mouth or eat or drink around them.
I promise not to do that. Yeah, Fedges acknowledges that raising your own poultry can be a rewarding and fun experience, but she says it's important to consider the risk before you take that on. State agencies may have to further tighten their belts this summer due to lower than expected revenue. The governor's budget director says state agencies should prepare for a worst-case scenario, planning for budget cuts that could be triggered under legislation signed by Governor Bullock as part of a compromise to balance the state budget. The state legislative fiscal division estimated revenue would grow by 4.3% by the end of May, but it only grew by 0.2%. Some of the budget cuts could be substantial, including a projected 16% reduction in the state library's $6 million budget. Some jobs could be eliminated. The governor's spokeswoman says state agencies have been directed to begin looking for other efficiencies and savings to minimize the impact of any budget cuts. The Montana legislature is out of session, but legislators will still be casting votes, at least till the end of June. Representative Nancy Ballance from Hamilton said about 10 of the bills vetoed by Governor Bullock had enough votes behind them to trigger an automatic vote on whether or not to override that veto.
Each one has a different deadline depending on when the veto was. So the first one is due, I think there were a couple that already went in. I sent mine in anyway, so they would have been probably due this week. But the next closest is the 14th, and then the last one that has come is on the 30th of June.
Though the bills got a large number of votes during the session, Ballance has little to no hope that any of the vetoed bills will survive the governor's veto.
It requires a supermajority vote. That means Democrats are going to have to vote for it along with Republicans. And I have not yet seen in any of the votes that we took during the session or in previous votes on veto overrides, I've not seen where the Democrats are willing to go against their governor.
To illustrate her point, the Democrats won't go against Bullock. Ballance said a bill from her first term in the House passed the chamber with only 2 votes against it. However, it still couldn't get a supermajority of votes after it had been vetoed. The search for a Nebraska man who is missing in a northwestern Montana river is focused in an area that a dog indicated should be searched. Lake County Sheriff Don Bell said yesterday search and rescue crews have been using an underwater camera to search the area, but the Flathead River is running high and fast, hampering the search for 23-year-old Richard Mitchell of Nebraska. Mitchell fell into the fast-moving water just below the SKQ Dam on the Flathead Reservation May 31st. Bell said he and others had hiked it down to an overlook area and continued past posted boundaries. Missoula's rivers are running high, according to Montana water supply specialist Lucas Zukowicz. They're very close to their peak for the year.
So the Bitterroot and the Clark Fork, I'd imagine here in the next week or two we're probably going to see our peaks. Really, at some point what we do is we kind of run out of mass of snow up in the mountains to be able to drive those really high flows. So even though we'll still see continued snow melt through the day and really see those peaks happen, kind of late at night, early morning.
Though the rivers are too full for most to enjoy right now, the time for fishing and floating is close by.
We're going to start to see a recession on the rivers here fairly shortly. We're going to run out of that snow water, and it's going to start to come down. So a lot of folks are, wanting to get out on their rafts, and they're wanting to get out and start fishing for the year. So it's really going to be dependent on what area you're in, but really I'd anticipate another week or two of high water, and then we're going to start to see some recession.
For many months, western Montana has been drenched by snow and rain, but Zukowicz says the month of May brought below-average precipitation and above-average temperatures, which helped turn the snowpack into spring runoff more quickly. And finally, District Judge Russell Fagg of Billings says he's going to resign this fall after 22 years on the bench, start his own law firm, and ponder a political career. Fagg, who is 56, says his private practice would focus on mediation and resolving cases before they go to trial. Our News Talk time now is 6:13.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Ample sunshine today with our high temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s. There will be an isolated thunder threat this evening and again on Thursday. Daytime highs Thursday will be in the mid-80s. We'll see showers on Friday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.